Mr. Speaker, I'm not even sure that the Honorable Prime Minister understood a lot of what she was saying or reading tonight. And an example I would ask her, what is a widget? Through you, Mr. Speaker, what is a widget? Okay. Mr. Speaker, no clue of what was being read, but creating an impression of being modern and cutting edge and, not a midget, a widget. Mr. Speaker, some seem to forget that there's also a serious challenge to the Honorable Prime Minister and Attorney General, and that is to ensure that while you correctly look back at past actions and officials, you also at the same time take care to carefully scrutinize and monitor those who are around you today and those who sit next to you today. That is also part of your duty as a government. Mr. Speaker, we've had many changes of government in the last 3 decades in our beautiful country. And one of the recurrent pitfalls seems to be that the incoming government seem often to be lulled into a false sense of security and arrogance by the parliamentary majority and by what they view as past errors of commission and omission. And they are seduced by a false sense of security and fail to monitor the growing impact that perceptions of corruption can have on their own government's effectiveness. They become lulled into a false sense of security. Mr. Speaker, under this dangerous illusion, all that is needed for one's current term of office is sufficient public relations and loud mouths to keep pointing at the other side. Mr. Speaker, one leading NGO in this country has suggested that because of this phenomenon, every government in our nation's future must overcompensate on the issue of public integrity. Every government in our nation's future must overcompensate on the issue of public integrity. And I want to ask the Honorable Prime Minister if she feels that her government is overcompensating on the issue of public integrity. Mr. Speaker, a worrisome silence from the other side. I'm sorry, Madam Prime Minister. I was indicating that a leading NGO in this country, Member for Dabadi O'Meara, please be silent and offer the same respect that the member for Point-a-Pear requested. You are no longer on a talk show. This is the lower house of Parliament. And while there might be crosstalk, you don't try to drown out a member who's on their feet. Mr. Speaker, I request your permission to continue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A leading NGO suggested that because of the phenomenon that we just examined, every government in this nation's future must overcompensate on the issue of public integrity. And the Prime Minister seems distracted, so I will proceed, Mr. Speaker. Through you, Mr. Speaker, I remember the passionate words of the Honorable Prime Minister on this very issue when she promised on TnT 3 to, in her words, do very differently to every government in the past by ensuring that anyone accused of corruption is removed from the scene of the alleged crime so that, as she put it, evidence cannot be tampered with. On national television, to do differently to every government in the past by ensuring that anyone accused of corruption is removed from the scene of the alleged crime so that, as she put it, evidence cannot be tampered with. And I have a question this evening, Mr. Speaker, or this morning, Mr. Speaker. How can you stand by those words today when you put the then PS of the Ministry of Public Utilities as minister and return Mr. Ganga Singh to the scene of Watford immediately after the
standing order is imputed improper motives, or 34. One second. No. You cannot do that. You cannot impute improper motives against a member of this house or the other house.
36.5.
Accused of a crime. He's not accused of any crime.
Accuse anybody of it.
You're a legend.
I'm not a legend.
No, I think the point is and so on, and you would know and I would know that a minister from either house, if you are going to query or raise issues that can query his conduct or his behavior, know where you are heading there. So I'm just cautious.
Thank you for your guidance, Mr. Speaker. And in case the Prime Minister may have distracted herself, the words on TnT 3, Mr. Speaker, because these are important words, and you cannot lead a country and then hide from what you've been saying. Mr. Speaker, these are important words, and she accused the Honourable Leader of the Opposition of all sorts of things there this evening. Very boldly. TnT 3. The government, she would do differently to every government in the past by ensuring that anyone accused of corruption is removed from the scene of the alleged crime. Didn't say charges, the scene of the alleged crime, so that, as she put it, evidence cannot be tampered with. At that point, Mr. Speaker, she would agree, the Honourable Prime Minister would agree, that she was referring to matters that were not under any criminal charges, but there were allegations. Mr. Speaker, the question is, how can one stand by such words when the actions that I mentioned have been taken since the general? It's a very simple question, and from the squealing on the other side, you might realize that the truth can hurt. Mr. Speaker, and you hear them, you hear the pain on the other side. It has begun. Mr. Speaker, if you fail to see any incongruity in this matter, it does not bode well, because you can't judge a 5-year term in 4 months. But you can look at the early signs, and you can look at the incongruity between what is said and what is being done, even within 4 months. And you hear the sad defense, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, member for Tunapuna has been listening closely to all of this and also observing his colleagues as they've gone along. And there are many members of his own party that are outraged by this new politics, which is really the old politics dressed up in new skin. And that is what we're seeing on the other side in the form of this government. Just a facade, Mr. Speaker.